So in this question type, you are given a list of words and you need to choose and identify and choose the words which are actual English word, which is the prompt is written here. Select the real English words in the list. Now, what do you understand by real? Real means the words which are actually used in English, which is basically the words should be in all the major dictionaries in the world, like the Oxford Dictionary or maybe the Cambridge Dictionary. Any word which is real should be in the dictionary. Okay. Now, you are given, these are the word list which are given to you. Some of these words are actual words and some of them are made up. So what they did is they made up some words just to confuse you, to check whether you can identify the words from this list, which are actual words and which are made up. You have to identify that. That's your task. Now, important thing to remember, very important to remember. Don't think that there will be any number of specific answers to this question. Don't think there must be, there must be 5 correct answers at least. Don't think that. It's not correct. There is no set number of answers. So the question that the test gives you might have all the words as correct answer. They might choose not to make up any questions, any words, and give all real words. So in that case, you have to choose all the words. And in some other questions, you might find a question where there could be only one answer. So only one English word, all the rest of the words might be incorrect. It might happen. So don't spend time thinking on that. Only choose the words which you know must be an English word based on your observation. Okay. This is very important to remember. Now, through this question, what the test is trying to test you is they want to know your vocabulary, level of vocabulary. How many words do you know? So they are trying to test your vocabulary. If you know a word, then you have a good vocabulary. That's their understanding. And you also need to check the spellings of the word. So they are also testing whether you know how each words are spelled. Those are the things that are tested in this question. Now, once you get this question in the exam, how do you solve this question? So we suggest that you follow four strategies for answering the question. Let me explain each of the strategy. The first one, always go from left to right. This is very, very basic, but it's important to remember. Don't just randomly keep on choosing a word. Well, I know this word. This is university is a word. Excerpt is a word. Then restart is a word. Transit is a word. Don't do that. It's haphazard. There is no process that you're following there. Always go from left to right. One word at a time, from left to right. You go one word at a time and you go from left to right. That's obviously what you're going to follow every time you answer the question. Strategy 1. Then strategy 2 is you speak each of the words aloud. When you are checking this word, for instance, university, you speak it out loud. Universally, that's how it's pronounced. So do that. And then the strategy 3 says that you check the spelling. So do that simultaneously. So for instance, for the second word, specialist, you say that and then check the spelling. Okay, those are the two strategies that go together, and you do that for every single word that you are going to answer. Okay, and the last strategy is move fast. Okay, so if you, for instance, if this is the third word, transitive, you can't remember, but well, have I heard this word anytime used before? If you can't remember, put it off. Don't come back to it later on, but answer the other words, and move along with your answer, because the thing is, you get only 1 minute to answer this question, and it's not a lot of time, and you have a lot of words here, right? So keep on moving fast, and whenever you find a word which you're unsure of, come back to it later on. So in round one, I'm saying it as round one. In round one, you go check all of the words for which you are sure, and then you once you're done, for instance, maybe you are done with courageous, and you know the stereo is not a word. You're done with round one. For some words, you're unsure, right? So come back to these words after you're done. Then on round two, check the words which you are unsure of. For instance, transitive. Is it a word? Okay. There is a verb called transitive verb, so maybe it's a word. Then I was confused with this word, chariot. Is it a word? Well, it's not a word, because maybe charity would have been a word, but chariot is not a word. So like that, you make the decision in final decision in round two for confusing words. Round one is for all the words you're 100% sure is a word. Okay. So now let me solve this question following all of these four strategies, just as a demonstration. So I get this question, and I read the prompt. Select the real English words in this list. Okay, universally, it's a word. Specialist, spelling, specialist. Yeah, it's correct. It's actually correct. So it's not a problem. Transitive. I'm not sure. I'll come back to it later on. Voluntary, spelled correctly. It's fine. Camped, not a word. Accelerate. It's fine. A chariot, not a word. Intention is a word. Promulgation, not a word. Deceit, Deceat. There we go. That's not a word. Why the word deceit is pronounced as the Deceit. That's the actual spelling of this deceit word. Deceit means to cheat someone, but it's misspelled here, so it's not a word. Okay, so that's why you need to check the spelling of each of the words that you're choosing. Now, construct, it's correct. Idealistic, it's spelled correctly. Representative, personnel, deadline. Well, deadline is a word, but since they added a D, it is not a word. So again, it's important that you check the spelling. Restart, courageous, and stereo is not a word. So I'm done with my round one. Now comes round two. So what do? Go back to any words that I was confused of. So the only word that I was confused about was transitive. Do I know the meaning of the word? Well, there is a verb called transitive verb, so it must be an English word. Otherwise, there would not be any transitive verb. So I'm going to choose this as a correct answer. And by that, you're done. You have answered the question. It's done. See, that's how you're going to solve this question in the exam. Okay. Now comes the part. Well, sorry, let me just remove the markings. Yeah. Now, how do you prepare for this question type? So we suggest three ways. One is get into the habit of reading. That's very important. Read newspaper for 30 minutes daily. 30 minutes is not a long time. And also newspaper is very well written. Newspapers are very well written, so it's a very good way to get into the habit of reading. If you don't at all like newspapers, you could read quality blogs or maybe storybooks. But the point is, you need to read for 30 minutes. You have 24 hours, and that's like only 30 minutes. We are asking you to read only 30 minutes daily to get into the practice of reading. And while you're reading, try to learn and practice new vocabulary. So in your reading practice, suppose you got a new word, maybe deceit. That's a word you learned from your reading exercise. Okay, so try to use this word. Make sentences up. Sentence one, maybe three or four sentences for each word that you learn. This is important because learning a new word is not easy. Once you hear deceit, you will forget it. Even if you know that it means to cheat people, you will forget it after some point. So it's important to practice new vocabulary by using them in sentences. Keep on using them for a couple of days, and your brain will consider it as an important word and it will remember the word. But if you don't do that, you won't remember new words. Okay. And also, when you're practicing, practice spelling out the words. So see the deceit. No, you just don't memorize the word deceit. You also check its spelling, Deceit. That's how you are spelling it. So like that, you always try to practice the spelling of the words too. Okay, those are the three preparations that you can take for this question type.